Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in Joe from DED. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good, man. Good to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, of course. Congratulations are in order. It's a big year for you. Despite the world falling apart, you guys are having so far a bang up year. Uh, Recent EP, brand new single, new record deal, new everything kind of. Let's talk a little bit about the state of DED at the moment. I think it's good though.
Yeah. The state of dead is good. Yeah. I mean, it's a new state, a brand new state we've never been in because of the world, but it's good, man. Releasing some music and just trying to navigate, through this strange time and like trying to figure out the right way to be. But things are good. New music coming out. We just released our new single Parasite, which I'm excited to have had out and getting some great reactions from people on it. And it's one that I'm really proud of. So and I just shot a music video, and there's more music coming out soon, and so we're just kind of like trickling stuff out and getting it out, and then whenever the album can come out, I'm just trying to figure that out still. But
Right on.
yeah,
I know you have probably, we have all heard the words unprecedented, never before seen, all these things over and over. So rather
yeah,
than beat a dead horse, obviously it's a strange time in the music business, but I'm really glad that like a lot of bands are forging ahead. And I think it's important, like anybody who's just like, yo, the world is too much for me, or I lost too much, or I'm suffering, or somebody passed. Anybody that's like, yo, I'm taking a year off, respect. I understand.
sure,
No judgments, but I appreciate if you're pushing forward. I'm glad, because when we're out of this, we're gonna have something on the other side, right?
yeah,
So
correct. Yeah, and like I get like the thing that you're saying, that vibe, and for certain people they can, but for us even too, being kind of a newer band, it's like we were really primed right now because we had like a really good first album cycle, and all last year we were recording our album and going out on tour and just trying to keep the momentum, and then just momentum dead, right? You know what I mean? And, no pun. And so it's like but what you got to roll with the punches. Being a musician, being in bands for a long time in my life, like there's a lot of ups and downs. You just got to persevere. It's just you got to push forward and adjust and acclimate and just like try to thrive in your environment. That's all you can do sometimes.
nice. Plus, I'm mad cordy, so I totally laughed at that joke.
Oh, good.
I'm dad joke age, even if I'm not a dad, so it's okay.
Okay.
I'm sure a lot of people make jokes to you, have come at you with jokes, but yeah, man, it's a good. I dug the EP, and Parasite's brutal, man. I love this, very like, energetic, perfect dead track, like very in your face. Would probably go awesome live whenever
Yeah.
that happens ever again. And I love the like. There's a lot of There's always been a very aggressive band, but I like how the song is put together and is very thoughtfully composed, I think,
Cool.
for you
Thank you.
guys.
We try to do that too. Yeah, we try to do that. Like, we're big fans of like just good songs. You know what I mean? So we try to have like a good, so like it's like you're talking about structure and composition. Try to have that in line. And just don't want to like we. If there's any part that ever bores us, we're like, get it out. It's just got to be just like badass the whole time. At least for us, in our opinion. So that's cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course, of course. And so is this track going to wind up being on the new record? Is this like a taste of the new record?
Yeah, correct. It is, and like the a Mannequin Idol and Ice on Shut as well. And they'll all be on the new album when it comes out. It'll all come together. Like I know, we'll like piece it together. If you bought it, it'll get lined up with that. And so yeah, we're just kind of releasing stuff, just kind of right now as we can, and then once we can release the actual album as like a full idea, I'm so excited for that, man, because there's a lot of different stuff. Really tried when we were out there this time, we really tried to do a lot of different things. I tried to do different voices, even on Parasite, in the verses. I kind of tried to do like a mixture of like Randy from Lamb of God and like Mike Patton from Faith No More, and tried to make kind of like this weird monster voice. I tried to do that, and I never did that on the first album. I just didn't want to do like a full on like scream, and and then I just tried to just be real diverse. That's all I can say. So it does like a lot of the stuff on the new album. It sounds like Dead, but it sounds like an evolution, I think.
Nice. I
Yeah.
can tell already, because Parasite is definitely proves that. And I like that you did the sort of acoustic version of Mannequin on
Mhm.
the EP a little bit, which I thought was really clever and showed a different side of the band that I don't think anybody was really expecting, which is
Yeah.
the best thing when you can surprise people. Like you make music for yourself. Anybody who says they don't is not, like I only do this for the fans. And look, of course, everybody that has supported you, you want to respect them and show them that they're investing their time and then perhaps their money for a reason. But like, I like that you guys are also like, we also do this for us. And like, you're trying to, clearly there's a journey you're trying to be on with your music. It's not just, oh, we're another band, let's make a bunch of balls out heavy songs.
No.
There's no footprints on the ground. There's no real book to follow. It's rock and roll, man. It's like, it's metal. There's not really rules, really.
Right. Totally agree with that. And yeah, that's I mean, that's what it is, especially being I think I would consider myself experienced. Like, I have done that in other bands where I've gotten in my head where it's like, oh, I feel like I'm almost trying to appease other people and shit. Like in DED, it's like, I want to love it first. Once I love it, then we can put it out into the world, me. And then same with the guy. I want the guys to love it. Once we love it, we put it out in the world. If everybody hates it, that's cool. We need to love it first. That's how it works.
Right on.
Yeah.
I would definitely say in terms of the 2020 material, maybe lyrically it's a little more broad. Like obviously, everybody's first record is usually very personal and like about my life experience, which you have to be, right? As anybody that's a singer is usually a storyteller, also a vocalist, a lyricist. So I always wanted to ask, like, what these Parasite, is that based? Obviously I can guess what I think it means to me, but what does it mean to you? And is this like indicative of where you're going lyrically with things?
Yeah, and that's cool too. Like, and I do like to kind of leave things a little bit open, like for people to take it as whatever they want to take it as. But for me, the song, and when I'm writing a song, I don't even know what it's about necessarily initially when I'm writing it. And this one in particular, I didn't. I just kind of like do the whole like psychologist thing where they just give you a piece of paper and you just write whatever you write, and that's pretty much what you do when you're writing a song. At least for me, I don't have like an idea of like I'm gonna write a song about this event or this or whatever. It's usually like it shapes itself as the lyrics are coming out, and then it kind of like molds like clay. And eventually, by the time it's done, I'm like, oh, okay, I wrote it about that. So really, this song to me personally, when I look back on it, and that's one of the things with new music. You haven't really even digested it yourself, like you need like a year or so of playing it live and you go, oh, okay, cool. This is what I, almost like that. Like you don't even know what you did. But for this song, for me, it's a bit more, it's like taking on the role of like anxiety or depression or addiction or sickness or something inside of somebody. And I took on the role of that. I almost look at it like a monster, and it's kind of like tormenting the human being that it's inside and like talking shit to the person. And I kind of like try to visualize, because I have some like anxiety and bullshit stuff. So I try to visualize that monster, and I'm always trying to fight it every day.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. It's kind of, not weird or ironic. It shouldn't be, but we are getting into a time when it's almost, I hope it's going to be more normalized for people to talk about their problems. There's been a huge stigma about mental health. And, I always think about Ozzy, right? Like everybody go crazy, but like, Ozzy was a complicated guy with a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And now that he's a lot older, he's comfortable talking about them. But for a long time, it was like, oh, he's just being Ozzy. He's on drugs. He's crazy, metal. But like
Right.
now it's like, oh, we're all flesh and bone. We have problems and we have issues beyond like, global pandemics and, political crises. We have guys. So it's okay to be like, yo, I have problems. I have anxiety issues. I have concerns. I have fears. So I appreciate you sharing. It's not easy. And, obviously I'm not like giving a pass to dudes who are terrible because of their problem. Also like none of that, but just like, I like to see us get to the point where it's normal for guys to say, I have feelings. It's not weak. It's cool.
Sure. Yeah. And getting diagnosed with like anxiety disorders and shit like that. You feel that kind of weakness, I think, in the beginning. But I think just like anything, if you own shit, like people can't make fun of you for shit that you own. You know what I mean? So like whatever it is, and so I'm not afraid to say that millions of people have it. Millions of people have it and have no idea that they have it and won't ever address it. And then they're going to be fucked because, you know what I mean? They're too proud to address it for themselves. I try to let it flow. It's part of me. It's cool. I'm working on it. I'm much healthier than I was. I'm a pretty healthy dude, honestly. So, but it's always something that's with me, and it's something that has given me a lot, honestly, confronting it personally. So.
Awesome. I think also culturally, just like I think the thing with men and boys, and like if you cry, you're weak, or it's not weak to say like I need help. It's okay.
100%.
And but we definitely all came from that couple of generations ago where it was like you suck, pal, and like stop being a whiny bitch. And it's like maybe I need help, like So I hope we're changing that dynamic. I appreciate you sharing. It's not easy, and it's good that you're creating a dialogue. Um, but yeah, I'm really appreciative of that. Yeah, good stuff. On a side note, the first time I ever saw the band or heard the band was live. I saw you guys at Chicago Open Air, where you
Okay.
played first in the like first or second in the day at midday. It was boiling hot, and I think there was technical problems, and you guys slayed anyway. And an audience that didn't know you guys too well was won over literally in like 25, 30 minutes, which was super impressive to me,
Cool. Thank
and everybody else there actually. So I know it's tough right now. You're probably going to put out a record at a time where you may not be able to tour much. You may not be able to do a record release party and hand somebody your record over a merch table. What is going through your mind in terms, and you're also a band that does pretty well at streaming. What is your mind kind of, your mindset right now? Like we're still pushing ahead with this record, but also this is a weird time in the music business.
you. Yeah. Yeah, because like you're saying, like live shows where I feel like we thrive. I feel like that's where we really connect with people, and that's like my favorite thing. But you know, it really is like acceptance of what it is, you know, which is part of all of my growth and things like that. So it's just like, you know, we'll put out what we can put out. We know, and we got the label and management. We got to get everybody lined up on the same shit. And so, you know, we'll put out what we can put out, but at the same time, we're writing more music for the next album now too, because we got all this time. We don't want to get to that point. Like we like to go in super prepared, overly prepared for albums. You know what I mean? So we got like a surplus of stuff to go through rather than being stuck on the spot and just getting stuck with whatever you made then. You know what I mean? So writing a lot of music, demoing a lot of stuff right now. Honestly, you know, taking a step back, we were touring and going to the studio left and right, back and forth for like 2 years. So like, it's really nice to like chill for a minute, really, and you know, and take a step back from all that. And so like just being creative, yeah, working out a bunch, you know what I mean? Like trying to get healthy and make the most of it. Some days you're super pissed about the scenario. Some days you're super grateful, and I just try to stay on the grateful side. You know what I mean? But a lot of music happening. I didn't have any creative juices flowing in the beginning of it, but the second half of the whole quarantine thing, it started flowing, and I'm just embracing it. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm so excited to be releasing music and connecting with people as much as we can. You know what I mean? So we're just going to continue to do that.
Nice. Everybody's getting swole for the post quarantine. Um,
Yeah. Be the
hopefully we
king
get some.
here, dude. Yeah.
Right. All the gains, all the gains. Hopefully the gyms start opening up too. So yeah, and I'm also, you know, like we have a couple of writers in your area of the country, actually, writers and photographers. So I'm always hearing about the scene over there, and it's a pretty good live music town. And I wonder, you know, saw a couple of places go under or maybe close indefinitely because obviously, nothing, you know, there's only so much you can do to keep people intact. So I'm bummed that our government hasn't stepped in. I know we're going to be the last to come back, but like, you know, what's your vibe on the local music scene for you guys? Because that's where everybody started as a local band, right? Nobody's just, I'm here, I'm international. Everybody starts, you know, at a club. So like,
Yeah.
what's your take on that, you know?
Well, I'm actually in New York right now. I've been quarantined up in New York, but like as far as like back in Phoenix, like I think there's an awesome scene. There's a bunch of different styles of bands. It's really diverse right now, more so than I had ever seen it like in the past. Um, you know, and which I think is really cool, and it's a little more spaced out. But as far as clubs go and stuff, and really I haven't been able to get back home there. But as far as like clubs opening up and stuff, like I don't know. It's a terrible thing. There's a lot of small clubs. There's a lot of really great venues, and you know, over the years, clubs have closed and opened and that kind of thing. And there's always going to be a new spot, and you know, it sucks, but it's just part of it. You know, like as iconic as some of them were for me and people around the area. There's always something new, and there's new memories, and there's new progress to be made in different places. You know what I mean? So. And as far as like, you know, bands from around there, like a lot of them are still releasing music. They're doing their thing, you know what I mean? And like, you know, it's just like you got to get creative and you just got to do what you can do, you know. But I'm watching, you know, I'm always watching my friends and their bands and trying to spread the word of them as well as much as I can, you know, all that kind of stuff. So
Nice. Yeah, man. I mean, AZ has always been a great part of the country for creativity and bands and stuff. And you know, yeah, I'm a fan of the area, so I'm hoping, you know, Tempe, Tucson, Phoenix. I'm hoping we get it all back. Mesa, and same here in New York. I mean, I'm in Brooklyn, and yeah, who knows? Like the big places, seems like they're gonna make it through, but you know, it's tough. And You know, do you have a feeling like when you're gonna feel you're also a band I have seen you like jump in the crowd and hand off the mic like a hardcore dude. So like
Yeah,
when do you think you're gonna feel safe and comfortable to do a show like you know how? You don't
yeah.
want to change what you do, right?
No, I don't. I don't. But you know, inside of things like, well, I don't know. You know, they're talking. I saw the news. There's like a couple of vaccines that are getting their final stages, which would be awesome. If there's a vaccine, then it's like cool. All right, you know, whatever. But I think we'll know. You know what I mean? I think we'll know. And when it is opened up again, we'll get into it. It just never happens, you know. It's just like I don't know how I'm gonna feel. I really can't say. You know what I mean? I might not be quite as hands on initially. I really honestly I might take a step back, but I also might get lost in the moment and just dive in. You know, so there is that chaos of the moment that you get lost in. So I really can't say. I'd like to say that. I'd like to think that I'll put you know I'll always put my best foot forward. Always just get lost in the moment. So you know, once we get back to it, I think it'll probably be safe enough to do what we, you know, to do what we do.
Right on.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I was going to ask you about your thoughts on streaming because obviously, since there are no real concerts to go to, I don't know if you've been watching any other bands do streams and what your thoughts are. If you guys, as you get closer to a full release, if you guys are going to do consider something like a streamed concert or playthroughs or things like that. I know you're very tight with your fan, like your fan base is very diehard. So I know you guys like to stay in touch with them, but how do you feel about live streaming?
Yeah, I stay in touch with them. And definitely like you know, the live streaming thing could be cool. I just wouldn't want to do it in like a cheesy way. I'd want it to be, you know, set up in a cool way, whether we like rent out a venue and make it look real, you know, like a real show with lights and all that stuff, and when we can be together in the same room. So once that kind of like opportunity is there for us, you know, it's just not, it hasn't been for right now. And you know, but I would love to do that, you know, and dive into that world. I just saw like the Word Alive guys just did it, and I think Cedar's got one coming up, and I've been seeing a lot of different people doing it. So, and I think Code Orange just did they do one too? Like they did it for the Cedar release party. Right?
They did two. They did one back in the spring that was like they rented a club and did in Pittsburgh and did the full
So
production.
yeah,
And
I don't
that
know.
was
Oh, did we freeze?
I think yeah, we're good. We're good. I think that was the one that blew up that they did like 13,000 people tuned in or something and they got covered by like Forbes. And then they did another one recently where they did
Okay.
like the unplugged thing and a little bit more like varied things from their whole career. So
Yeah. Yeah. So like, you know, I see some cool ones, and when we can do one that I feel it does justice and is worthwhile for people and their money and that kind of thing, you know, whatever it is, or if it's not, you know, whatever, but not quite yet, but when we can, we will for sure.
right on. Well, you know, just like everything else, the streaming companies and the technology platforms, Zoom. I think I saw some statistic that was like on March 1st, Zoom had like 120,000 users, and then on March 31st, they had like 2 billion users. So like scaling, right? Like this is a thing the music industry is always thinking about. Like, how do you succeed at scale, right? Just in a business sense. How do you scale your band? How do you scale your streams? How do you scale your social media? So it's the same thing. Like I'm patient. I know the technology is not always there. I've seen a couple myself. I thought Trivium did a really good one. Down did a really good one. Behemoth did a really good one. Baroness is going to do one tonight here in Queens in New York City. So like we're getting there collectively, right? Like we're all, you know, fans. We're all in the same boat. Like
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Yeah. It's cool though. It's cool that, you know, just how resourceful people are. I think it's awesome and how good we are at adapting and just dive into the next thing. Just like, fuck it, cool. Here we go.
right
You
on.
know?
Just as we wrap this up and bring this to a close, because I want to give you back your day. Besides music and getting swole, what else have you been doing to kind of keep yourself occupied for hobbies and stuff?
Oh yeah. Well, you know, Marie and I have just been like cooking a bunch of food, like trying, you know, learning how to cook food, honestly, trying some new things out. Um, Meditating honestly a lot, really getting into some deep breath meditation, which has been fantastic for me. If anybody's looking into trying something like that out, man, it really releases a lot out of your body. It's amazing. And writing music. I don't know. Everything usually kind of revolves around music or working out, you know, in some sense. But you know, TV shows. Been loving that Cobra Kai show. Watched it like seriously. Maria and I binged that like in like a week or something like that. It was so good, super fun. That show, The Boys, has been dope too. So hey, watching a lot of stuff. trying to be healthy, cook some good food, go, we're looking up recipes for different things. And I think just learning and really enjoying kind of the solitude of being at home, so it's awesome.
Awesome. I'm also rather enjoying The Boys. I'm a huge Garth Ennis fan from the comics and his other stuff, obviously Punisher and Preacher, and also The Boys is weirdly making me want to binge a lot of Billy Joel.
Do they play Billy Joel in there?
Yeah, there's a lot of Billy Joel references. There wasn't the first season too. They were a little more hidden.
Yeah.
Huey was like, I need to get my second wind, and then they showed a little bit of that music video from like 1985. I was like, word. We got to get some Dead placements and some superhero properties. That'll be the next.
I noticed. I mean, he was rocking a Ramones shirt and a Nirvana
Yep.
shirt, and Flash was in there, and I was like, oh, I remember saying to Maria, I was like, oh yeah, this is a really good soundtrack. Like they got some, they're throwing in some bomb. And he did. He said something like Billy Joel. What did he say? He said something like Billy Joel was like the last thing he said to his girl before she exploded.
Yep.
Was that ever so? Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, I was thinking that yesterday. I was like, Billy Joel is just one of the best songwriters of all time. Man, he's just probably my top 20 favorite artists of all time. Honestly, he's just incredible.
Same, and I definitely am very liberal about talking about how much I love Billy Joel in the middle of conversations about like black metal and rap metal and death metal. I don't give a shit. Like I love Billy Joel. A good song is a good song, just like you said earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good song is a good song. Joe, man, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you. I'm super proud of you. Congrats on the success, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more about this. All the reveals coming soon, new video, new album, all this stuff, man. Congrats.
Thanks so much, but I really appreciate it, man. It's been awesome talking to you too.